Hi there, I am Madam Onca, and it is time for another session of tea and tarot. I've got tea. It's chilly here in Virginia, so I'm warming up my hands in order to be able to hold the cards. Our last session, we talked about aces in a very general terms, and specifically the Ace of Wands. Today, as is suitable to this warm cup of tea, we're going to do the Ace of Cups. So, I am once again going to be presenting three different decks to look at today and to instigate the conversation. One is the World Spirit Tarot, which is the deck that I made and co-wrote a book with Jessica Zucca-Gadino, I don't know, 200 years ago or something. It just came out in the second edition. And then, of course, the Rider Waite or the Rider Waite Smith Deck, which is one of the most seminal decks, if I might use that term, of this century. And then my favorite deck riffing off that deck, which is the Gummy Bear version of the Rider Waite Tarot. It is charming. So, let's talk a little bit about cups in general. Cups, of course, refer to love, creativity, and also emotional availability to a certain extent. And there's this aspect of sort of spirituality, you might say. Of course, everyone has a different shape or flavor to their spirituality, but when the suit of cups comes up, a lot of times it is talking about your sort of inner experience, your meditative life, your emotional life, and there is a strong current that runs through the suit of cups that is about relationality, meaning it's not just how you feel, but it's how you feel and how you are connected with others, be that romantically, creatively, familially, tribally. So it's specifically really about how we connect and how we all flow together. Now, in terms of the symbolism, you'll notice that the Rider Waite deck has distinctly Christian overtones, and you see that this is sort of the Holy Grail, as it were. This is a cup that represents not only emotions, feelings, creativity, but there's an aspect here of this is the cup. It is described as the cup that brings renewal. It is the fountain of life. And of course, there's this dove coming down. It has, again, very distinctly Christian overtones. And we see that expressed a little bit more simplistically, upside down, here in our Gummy Bear cards. For anybody who missed our last blog on this subject, you'll notice that this is essentially the same deck redrawn. It's simpler, a little more cartoony. This is a great deck for working. It's great for travel, and it's also great for working with young people. I love it because the implicit white-centric, Eurocentric aspects of the Rider Waite deck are mitigated by the fact everyone in this deck is a gummy bear. So you'll see there's some similarities there. In my expression of this, I opted to make it less traditional specific. You'll know it really is still the same image. I mean, Pamela Coleman Smith, it's hard to better her for illustrative genius, in my opinion. But once again, we see this notion of a central chalice. It's a cup, and it's not really about the chalice. The meaning of the card is really about what is contained within it. It is as if the chalice symbolizes you, your body, your experience in the material world, and what the card is really describing is that which is contained within, which is the emotional content, the creativity, the spirituality, the capacity literally for reflection and meditation, and the juiciness that is the source of life, if you want to think of it that way. And all of the aces are gateway cards, you might say. I mean, you can see literally that this is here we've got this gateway. It's traditionally known as the Vesica Pisces, the shape of the fish, but it's basically a yoni. It's a gateway that suggests that you are standing on the edge of a sea of potential. And when this card comes up in a reading, it is up to you to shape, to, again, create the vessel for all this sort of pure emotion, pure experience, pure creativity, spiritual impulse. It is up to you to define the parameters, the shape that takes. And so here it is overflowing, and you are standing on the brink of something magnificent. When this card comes up in my experience, it is near universally positive and describes wonderful things and abundance coming to you. There are some suggestions, if you get it in a reversal, and you're a person who reads cards in reverse, or you're dealing with sort of the shadow aspect of it, it might be sort of spiritual fraud or something that is inauthentic. But in my experience, really, when it comes up, it's pretty much just a just a positive thumbs up all the way across the board. Let's bring one of these back up. And you'll notice, well, this card, at least in this particular edition, it's sort of very neutral. Everything is gray. The colors are warm, pleasant, but very neutral. In my case, this is one of the cards that I let lean into the dark, into sort of the twilight. And that is because I wanted to suggest that you are standing in a place of spiritual potential, and you are either moving into a place of deep knowing, that being the darkness, or moving into a time of great visibility, a time of conspicuous input, as it were, and it's essentially standing on that brink of day. So, but you can approach it, that symbolism in a variety of ways. Let me fiddle with the computer there. Yeah, so that's a quick overview of the Ace of Cups. I look forward to doing more here with our Tea and Tarot. The next one we're going to continue with some more aces, and we will continue to work with these 3 decks. In future editions of this blog, I will also bring in some of my other decks that I love. So if you have any questions, as always, feel free to contact me. I'm on the Facebooks at World Spirit Tarot by Lauren Onca O'Leary, and on the Etsy and on the internet at hardestworkingwomaninsshowbusiness.com. Special thanks to my co-author in writing the book for this all those years ago, which is Jessica Shuka Godino, who was a deep person and a great writer. Thanks. See you next time.